thanks to Cinemateca. They were like this. Okay, turning back to long takes, it is a little bit complicated question. I try to answer shortly. First of all, the question is what means long takes? You are shooting something, let's say 10 minutes long, but you know, in a long take, it has a lot of editing inside of the take. You know, Jean-Luc Godard said in the 60s, the real filmmaker is cutting into the camera. You know who was the most stupid person who was listening for his sentence? It's me. Because afterwards he started to cut it like a man. But anyway, I was following his instruction, and you know what this means, the long take. I'm starting on his face, and then I'm turning, and it's coming a wider picture, and the space is different, and everything is, you know, all the time. Then afterwards coming another close-up. You know, it has a kind of choreography, rhythm, and the lengths of those takes inside of one long take are all the time meaningful. And for me, it was much more interesting than doing someone is entering to the room, say hello, and I will cut, and he will say hello, and I will. And this is how the films looks like. For me, much better to combine them, to connecting them. And of course, the long takes has a real tension, because everybody has to be on the top and everybody has to be in the situation. The actors, the crew members, the dolly guy, the cameraman, everybody. And everybody is breathing in the same rhythm, because we are concentrating and focusing for the same thing. And this is why I like the long takes, because it's pushing me to creating the real tension in the set, not creating in the editing table. And when I do not have enough tension, I will call in the musicians and they will play for the screen, because I believe it helps. No. I was doing in the set. It's much more interesting, but of course much more harder.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Let's see. If you do not touch my privacy, yes.
A memory of your childhood, a good memory.
Do you have enough time?
Yeah.
I had a little bit stormy childhood. Yeah, absolutely. Every day it was nice, and at the same time fucked up. How can you cannot dividing it's good or bad. It's all together. I cannot say, let's say something happened, and then, of course, when I fell in love with the neighbor's daughter, of course, it was nice. But when I saw her at 2 hours later to walking with another boy, it was the same day fucked up. You know, how can I say it?
And what do you like in an actor?
I never worked with any actor, even if I was working with some world famous actresses, I did not choose them because they are good actresses. I was all the time when I'm doing the casting, I'm listening for the personality. Who is she or he? Because I do not give them script,
Yes.
and I do not tiring them with these stupid circumstances. I just put them into the situation, and they have to be themselves. And they do not play, they are just being. This is very important. And of course, I have to know, okay, we have a kind of imagination about the character of the film, but it is a fiction. But when you have a real person, you have to forget immediately the character of the film, or the story, or the script, or the idea. You have to just listen who is your partner in this work. And then, of course, for me, they are they. The story is lost. Everything is lost because they are there. And they are breathing, they have anger. And when I see they are in the situation and they have real emotions, and it's a dirty job. By the end, they became naked because I see their eyes and I see how they are reacting. And of course, I put it into the box and I show it to you. It's a really dirty job.
Thank you.
Just haunting real human moments.
Yeah.
And it's very important. You can do this if you are not humiliating anyone. And because they trust you, they are opening themselves. And you have to keep them safe. And you have to be sure, and you have to guarantee for them. You never give them to any fucking humiliating situation. You have to respect their dignity, because all of our effort, all my work, what I did it from the beginning till now, it was about protecting the human dignity. I cannot humiliate my partners because they are my partners in this work.
Thank you.
Ask you, you already said something about the editing or about the way you choose your own shots, but I would like to ask you in a very precise way. You have said often also that all your editing is done practically in the camera, and you really don't take too long afterwards building the film in the editing table. So it means that the heart, I mean, the main, absolutely main part of your creative work is done there, in the situation of shooting. My question is, I felt somehow interesting that, taking into account that for you the shooting is almost everything. On the other hand, contrary to other filmmakers, it apparently happens that you don't change the structure of the film never. You have the film in your mind and you go from one shot to the other, making the takes, but not really opening to the experience of the shooting into the extreme situation of changing the course of things in the film. I'm not whether I'm clear about it.
I have to tell you one thing, of course, I'm not stupid. Sometimes sometimes I'm stupid. And of course, sometimes I had an idea. Usually I know the whole film from the beginning till the end, frame by frame. But it's happened with me, for example, in the Bergmeister Harmonies, I believed a scene, and when the Walushka and Mr. Esther are walking on the street, do you remember it's a long walk, and they are carrying the suitcase, and at the end of the day, the three gentlemen are waiting for Mr. Esther, and they started to talk, and Walushka, and that's all the scene. And I had totally different imagination about this scene. And we just finished the shooting day, we were shooting another scene, and I was doing the end of the day rehearsal for tomorrow with the three gentlemen, Walushka and Mr. Esther. And we were doing a quick rehearsal just to explain to the crew what they have to prepare for tomorrow. And then, finished the work day, I went back to the hotel and I did not like it. And I was really worried about the shoot this shit. And I was angry for myself. And you know, all my best idea is growed up during of the morning shower. And I woke up, I took the shower, and then I was calling immediately my dolly guy, and I said to him, no, stop. Everybody stopped, and I'm running to another location, and we meet there. And I told them at 7 o'clock in the morning, they have to build up 100-meter long track. You know what this means? The track for the camera, 100 meters. Someone is filmmaker here or cinematographer. It's big work, 5.5 hours. And they said it's impossible because the whole shooting day it's really just for the building. And we have only 1 hour for the shooting. And I said this 1 hour it will be enough. But I changed everything. And I changed. It could happen. You have to be careful and you have to revise yourself. And of course, afterwards, when you see in the set, it's okay. In this case, you can sleep forever.
Normally, do you, regardless of the way you plan it, normally do you do many takes, or you do it?
It's all the time depending by the situation, depending by what is happening. For example, in the Cinemateca, the big dance, we did it we shot only twice. And we are using bows. Let's say we shot only once. Because the raw stock is only 10 minutes long and it's went over and we just cut it in the, it could happen like this. But the other hand, for example, from the Cinemateca, the long speech of Irimias, we shot 12 times. It's all the time depending what is happening and how is happening.
It's my questions on the method. I also read that, I believe, I don't know, maybe since the beginning, for you the sound, you don't really work with direct sound. I mean, you build the sound totally afterwards. I believe part of it because of practical reasons, the way you have to
No, the first,
But is that any belief?
the first 4 films, I was, because they were very, we did not have budget and nothing, and it was direct sound. And the first, maybe this is why you could see this a little bit different than the others. It was a damnation because when we were using rain machine and we were using helicopters, we were using wind machines and we were using a lot of noisy stuff. Plus, I'm screaming all the time, slower, louder, or it's useless, the direct sound. We are recording, but if everything is artificial, we are creating the whole sound in the studio. And I loved it very much, to do the voices, the noises, and everything. I'm capable. And I'm killing the people. It's not too sharp, do it stronger. I love to do it. It was good. It's artificial, yeah, because you have to create a little bit new environment.
I want to ask you about the relationship of your films with animals. Because we have the horse, nature's horse, we have the dogs from Damnation, and most especially the
Cat in the shadow.
Yeah, but I'm playing a bit devil's advocate in this question because I show that big part of Shadow. I've saw the film sometimes, and once I came here just to see that part, and I noticed this year when I showed that to my students, they were quite disturbed, at the same time, you were talking about human dignity, and animals are something in between. They're not quite subjects, but they're not concrete, just objects. I mean, in the sense of stones or yeah, of course. So, but they.
I have to refuse.
What do you have to refuse?
The animals are a part of the nature, and we are a part of the nature, and we are equal. This is a really stupid human way, or let's say this, when we are treating the animals like some beings under us. No, okay, let's say I wasn't really precise, let's say I wanted to protecting the dignity of all being, okay?
But have you noticed people's reaction to that scene? Because it's more about the little girl, actually. I don't want to spoil for the persons who haven't seen it, but it's very much a big sequence about the little girl and her destiny. Don't you find sometimes disturbing that people worry too much about the cat?
Honestly, first of all, it was this film, Shadow, the premiere, it was 1994. It means it's 22 years old film. As I know, after 5 years the premiere, I saw the cat alive because, he just get an injection and he fell to sleep. And of course the whole crew, it was around him and we were waiting if he wake up. But he woke up and hey, man, I can't believe any fucking film for killing an animal. No. It's impossible for our goal is different. And of course, some people reacting like this, like you, it's became hectical because they believe we hurting the cat. But when she was, let's say, fighting with the cat, you know, I remember we were rehearsing this thing almost a month. And do you know the cats? If you hurt them, they are scratching you immediately. And this cat did not, because they were playing every day this turning in the hotel. And you know, this cat was trained, and they were rehearsing, and I was checking them every day, of course. The same like the closing scene in the damnation. I had to go there every day to see how they are rehearsing this. And when they are in the touring horse, it was the same. I had to go there to see how they are doing with the horse. It's your job, and that's all. Believe me, the cat was totally fine. And by the end, we had to find in the sound archive some noises and voices of the cats, because our cat was totally fine. Because he just believed this is a kind of play. They are doing every day. It was fun for him, because it was a mere cat. Okay, that was about the entertaining.
I thank you very much, Mr. Béla, for your answers. I'm just,
Where are you?
I'm here.
Where? Okay, sorry.
I thank you very much for your answers, your generosity. I just have a little question about links. Two names to which I feel your films close. Orson Welles and Ingmar Bergman. Orson Welles, Ingmar Bergman.
Far from both. Unfortunately, of course, they are two big directors. I'm closer to Orson Welles than Ingmar Bergman. For me, this kind of bourgeois psychology stuff is far. Yeah, let's say small bourgeois, because they are Swedish. You know, it's a little bit far from me. And I can watch it, but do not touch me. And Orson Welles is different, of course. He was a real monster, and of course, I love the monsters. And he was provoking you, and yeah, he's someone. And I love his movies, but you know, my possibilities was really limited, and I could not choose any of him. And you know, the way how he was treated by the fucking film industry in Hollywood, that's why I do not understand why the people did not learn from his tragedy.
Which one of your films do you prefer? Of your own films?
Sorry?
Which one of your own films do you prefer?
I'm sorry, but this is a really bad question, because you can ask a father who has, I don't know, 5 kids, which one is the favorite? Can you believe, as you are a father, to say my first or second or third? You never. Because, okay, the first has a little bit bigger head, and the second one has a little bit bigger ear, or the third one has a bit bigger nose, but all of them are mine. How can I choose? They are different, of course, how the time was passing. But of course, first of all, honestly, I do not shame any of them. I can't say I'm proud of them.
Hi, I would like to ask two questions, and the first